Well, good morning. We're back in Middle Earth, and we're back with Fistula because she's going to do one more day of festival. But happy news is she finally got her goat. So let's take a look at the honey goat. And yes, Medrielle got hers too. That's got a cute little backpack on the side. I'm not really fond of the saddle blanket, but it's got several jars and one big barrel of honey. And the goat itself is actually pretty interesting looking. Very shaggy fella. So, yep, there's the goat. And that was that was acquired using the festivity tokens you get during doing the spring instance each day. Now, I did find out you can do that solo. You can do it 3 times a day. Solo, 2 or 3 man, and then fellowship, 6 man. And of course, we just got it for her for fun. We got one for Medrielle because, well, she's much closer to Moria than Fistula is, and she's going to need a goat to get around. And she didn't have one, but now she does. I also found this dress, and it is, I forgot what it's called, Braided Dress of the Spring Woods, which I'm pretty sure I didn't have already. Well, I got it. It looks good on her. And I dyed it lavender because it came out green, because everything, like half the stuff in this game seems to be some shade of puke green. And of course, parts of it still don't dye, so like the shoulders here are still green. But with the lavender, the green actually looks good. It just doesn't look good all green. Alright, so we have saved this festival quest for last because it's the one that takes a full hour.
Would you do something for me?
Hello again, Fistula. I wanted to thank you for your help. I've gone ahead and sent a note over to Miss Coppersmith, and we will be meeting for tea later today. I couldn't have done it without you. In the meantime, please let me introduce you to my friend, Gradlin Mugwort. He has come up with a wonderful plan. He thinks that if we work together, we can create bouquets and gifts for suitors to give to their sweethearts. We would appreciate it if you would go out and pick more of those lovely flowers. You can come back and trade them to Gradlin in exchange for wonderful presents. We look forward to seeing what flowers you bring back. You can pick all the blooms from flower patches around the area where you found the flowers. I asked for violets, are found most often in Breland, primrose in Ered Luin, and marigolds in the Shire. Do not worry if you feel as if you do not have enough time to find all the flowers you need today. You can always come back tomorrow and try again. So, this quest gives you an hour to pick as many flowers as you can. Alright, so we're going to have to be a little careful picking flowers out in Bree fields because the stuff is aggroable. And actually, I think now the stuff that the flowers we pick in Ered Luin should be fine, as should most of the ones we'll pick in the Shire. But the ones here at Bree are the ones that we're going to run into mobs that aggro. Not that she can't absolutely handle herself, it's just going to eat into our time. Now, the way that I have chosen to tackle this is by splitting up the time. So, about 20 minutes per region, give or take, for travel and stuff. But here's your patch of flowers, and I don't think we can do this on, I think it'll dismount us to get them. We'll find out. I'm pretty sure each time you go to pick flowers, it'll dismount you. ore. And that's bears. Lots of bears. And like I said, we'll have to be a little bit careful because stuff will aggro on us. Yeah. So, we're not going to keep getting on and off our horse for this. Or our goat in this case. Okay. I think, did we manage to? No, we didn't manage to pick these. Alright. I think we're zoomed out about as much as we can. Are there flowers over here? There are. And you'll pretty much find flowers in this general area. And as you see, we got a primrose as well as our violets here. Two violets and a marigold. So you will get flowers from the other regions, but it won't be nearly as the quantity as the dominant flower in that region. In this case, that would be violets. And we keep wanting to go to that barrow iron, but we cannot collect that yet because we haven't worked on our copper. Shame on us. We should work on her crafting. And, of course, like I said, this is pretty much the last thing we really need to do for the festival that we haven't done yet. We have, of course, looked at the, I call them the beer runs, but the beer tasting for Breland and for the Shire. We've done all the stuff in the maze with the exception of that one beer drinking quest, which I don't do because, I'll be honest, I'm not good at it. You have to find mugs of beer in the maze, drink it, and then you pretty much pass out in or port it to another location in the maze, and you have to figure out where you're at and then figure out where the next beer is. So yeah, not my favorite. And I'm getting a lot of laggy lag. And I don't know if that's on my end or on the game's end. Let's see. 390 millisecond lag. It's gone down again. Reduced awareness. Your awareness of your surroundings has been reduced somewhat in order to help reduce a heavy processing load on your server. Once the server returns to normal processing levels, your awareness will be returned to normal. Until that time, you will not see objects as far away as you're accustomed to and may not notice objects popping into view suddenly as you move about the landscape. So yeah, they're having a little bit of an issue with... I'm not going to complain. I mean, yeah, I'm not really fond of lag, but I'm not going to complain if that's the issue they're having. Because that means that there's a number of people on the server right now. And actually, I noticed that there was some back and forth about character titles in the game earlier. Because I've been on for a little bit. I did the basic festival stuff. Obviously, I got her little dress. And Yeah, they were talking about titles that you can get in-game. Some of them which you can no longer get in the game. Some of them which I guess somebody has had a problem with them because of reasons. They were complaining about what they call whale titles, and I'm assuming they mean the titles that people get if they have pre-ordered an expansion or a quest pack or something. So, I mean, what do they want? Do they want people not to pay money into the game? I mean, it would have shut down long ago if that was the case. And some people, well, I mean, I bought Gundabad. I don't buy every expansion when it comes out. I quite often wait for it to show up in the LOTRO store. But that doesn't mean that people shouldn't feel free to purchase an expansion however they wish. And telling people that they're whale titles or are offending you. What? Why would you be offended by somebody who's essentially helping to keep the server open? Wow, there is some big lag going on. I'm waiting to find out if I actually picked those flowers or not. Already in use. Okay. Finally. Alright, so that's going to slow things down even more. We already only have like 10 minutes left before we have to head to the stable and head to the next spot, which will be probably Erdluin, I'm thinking. Patch of flowers right next to a bear. And okay, only got 2 violets that time. That's fine. There are patches where you only get 1 flower, which is a little annoying. Oh dear. Hi. Bye. Go away. There are usually some flowers around here. I think I have some pretty big competition for flowers right now. And we're waiting. Okay, let's pick the flowers already. I don't think I've seen this much lag in quite some time. Okay, so can we pick these flowers before This guy decides to move. Inquiring minds want to know. Now that we can't take him, he's only level 14. Let's go ahead. Or maybe not. It's not even letting me attack things right now. And this patch is back up already. Two violets, a primrose, and a marigold. Well, that was a good one to stop for. Now, these go into the wallet so you can see how many of each you have already. And I'm already up to 28 violets. And I have 3 marigolds and 8 primrose. So primrose is the secondary flower in this area. It is the primary flower in Arid Luin. And of course marigolds are in the Shire. And we're doing this mainly so we can get maybe 1 or 2 of those gift boxes so you can see what's inside them. Because, you know, that's another festival vendor and they have various things. So we'll see if we get lucky and get something good. How much time we have left? We don't really have much time here. So we'll see if we can't get at least 1 or 2 more bunches of flowers before we move on. I think we're at... That doesn't tell me up here. It looks like 46 minutes. And if she didn't aggro stuff, I would go much further afield because there are patches of flowers all over the place within an area. I think if you go... If you see the art camp between here and Trestle Bridge, you've gone too far. And I think... halfway between here and the Shire, you also will have gone too far. And it doesn't help it when I click, I also get, you know, ore deposits showing up, or ash branches. Ash, not the other word. Now, at least that bear doesn't just straight up attack me. He does warn me. He goes, "Excuse me, you're intruding on my territory." And I'm like, "Excuse me, I didn't mean to." A violet and a primrose. Passing through again. Yeah. Alright, just keep that stinky breath to yourself. Okay, so for the moment, we seem to have stopped bouncing like a rubber ball. I don't know, maybe they got it under control. I'm surprised they didn't just go ahead and decide to, layer brie if that was the problem. They'll do that if an area gets too crowded, in order to reduce lag problems, what they'll do is layer it. And basically, it just means that people will find themselves in an instanced version of the area that they're in. And if you happen to find yourself in an instance version and your friends are in another instance version, the easy thing to do is fellowship up, and then everybody can port to the leader of the fellowship if they don't happen to already be in the same layer. It's very useful. But yeah, like I said, I'm surprised they haven't already layered it if they're having that kind of problem. Okay, so she's hanging out here picking these flowers. I guess I'm not going to really get anything from this end. I don't know if she's also just started hers, or if she's going to do a route like I do, or if she's going to stay in one place. No clue. But I am about to move on, so we'll head towards where the Westbury Gate is. We'll meander along in that direction and pick any more flowers we can. Shall we? Okay, we got a marigold from that one. Very nice. And we've only had to fight like 2 or 3 boars, so not too bad. So, I'll be honest, this isn't the most exciting quest in the world. And it's not the only festival quest that has an hour time limit like this. There is, I can't remember if it's the summer festival where you do the fishing. I don't think it's Farmer's Fair. But there is a festival where part of it is catching fish. And like this one, you turn the fish in for rewards. I almost want to say it's Summer Festival. But it also has an hour time limit. And you get an hour to go to 3 different places and catch as many fish as you can. I don't know why they chose to do these particular time wasters. It's certainly, if you're a completionist and you have several characters, this will eat up all your time. This game will turn into a straight up job. If you know you're going to be playing the game for a considerable amount of time in the future, I'd say the best way to do that is pick 1 or 2 characters each year and do this stuff. And then the next year, pick 1 or 2 more characters and do this stuff. And now we are headed to Erdluin.
What can I do for you?
Alright, so, Kellendam, because that's where you're going to find the flowers at, is around Kellendam. Dismount, dismount, dismount. It's too late. Okay. Was not fast enough to dismount. So you're going to start seeing flowers up this way. There's actually one way up there somewhere, but we're going to ignore it for the moment. So, flowers. We got 2 primroses. Like I said, Kellendam, the dominant flower is the primrose. Don't think there's any down here, but I'm going to come check. There is a nice little gazebo that overlooks the water. Very pretty. Prettier during the day, though. Oh, festival. I did learn a tip from my friend that I play with on a regular basis. The chickens outside the maze. That quest starts up every half hour on the hour. So, 8, 8:30, 9, 9:30. It does kind of scooch around a little bit if there's been downtime for maintenance, but it is generally every half hour on the hour. So instead of waiting around for that quest to pop up, you kind of now have a time frame of when you have to be there for that chicken, when the chickens are released into the maze. And it's amazing. After 12 years of playing this game, I'm just now learning that. Oh, patch. Did I see patch of flowers somewhere? I almost saw. I bet you that was the one I just picked. Okay. Now, I shouldn't have too much trouble here. I'm pretty sure the mobs in this area are going to be gray. So, shouldn't have any fighting. Oh, dear. Hello, dear. Oh, don't run away. I'm not going to hurt you. Now, there's usually a decent amount of these patches of flowers in this area here. Don't know why, but there are. That's a big mosquito. I know they call it a sickle fly, but it's a mosquito. It's a gigantic mosquito. It's Jurassic. Yeah, and if I saw that, I'd be like, yeah, no, I'll just go that way. Thanks. Drop of fine clover honey. Oh well. Might as well pick up the beehive, because that's what we need right now, right? A bunch of bees in our bonnet. She doesn't have a bonnet on. But you know what I mean. Okay. Hi, Wolf. Hi, Wolf. You know, I'm thinking over all the time I've played the game. And I do recall vaguely. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and go, I remember exactly the day and time. Oh, that's right. She hasn't really explored this place at all, has she? She's just starting to find things here. But when I made my first character that I played for a good long time, I think she died before level 20. I remember being pretty annoyed by that, because I wasn't going to get the Undying title. Of course, nowadays, that's not even hard to get. But that's besides the point. But the game was definitely not as solo friendly as it is now. I'm not saying that it couldn't be done solo, although you definitely had to be at or slightly higher level than what you were doing. But there were definitely areas that, while are infinitely soloable now, were not so much back then. Harlog Swamp out in the Lonelands is one such place I can think of off the top of my head. You definitely didn't just go solo that. You brought a couple of friends along with you, and you went after the trolls and the wights and the spiders in the Lonelands in that one valley were also the same way. Definitely very, very, very challenging stuff. Nowadays, not so much. Kind of wish they would, I don't know, amp up the mobs a little bit. Make them a little more of a challenge. Because it's fun to be challenged. Have to figure out a way to do something and survive. Kind of enjoying this one game, Vampire Survivors. It's not a special game. In fact, it's pretty cheesy. It's, you got your little guy, and the whole purpose of the game is to survive as long as you can with wave after wave of monsters attacking you. And you pick up XP and you level up, and you can pick a skill to level up. But yeah, I've been having a lot of fun with it because it's rather challenging. And I really would like to see LOTRO and MMOs in general return to that. Probably one of the reasons I want to try out Elden Ring so much. And Hogwarts Legacy. Because they both sound like they're doing that. There's not a lot of hand-holding in the games. And there is challenge, whether it be those mobs are almost impossible to kill, but if you get stronger and or you figure out the right weak point of the enemy, then you can do it. Or there's puzzles. It's like, okay, in order to progress, you're going to have to figure out this puzzle. And I'm not always the greatest at doing puzzles, but I enjoy them. So yeah, it's just something I would like to see. I'm not saying that every game has to do that, but if they did it, I would like it. If they don't, well, I mean, like LOTRO, obviously, I played for 12 years. I don't have any intention of quitting anytime soon. I play LOTRO as much to explore the world and just look for little things that I've missed or find new things when they put new stuff out, like the angle, as I do for the quest or the challenge. So, yeah. That was just one of the things I was thinking of when I was thinking of all the years I played the game. Cute little fields. And they're actual working fields, as you could tell. You can grow stuff on them, which can be a little bit challenging if you're low enough level to aggro stuff in the area. You'd be in the middle of farming and have something attack you. So much fun. Actually, it can be kind of fun. And break up the monotony of just farming. Trying to think. So we have Spring Festival, and I think the next festival coming up is Anniversary. Now this will be my 12th year, and I think I read somewhere that the 12-year box has some sort of a cowbell in it or something. I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's going to be as much fun as the 11-year box where I got 11sies. That one was fun. Still, I'm looking forward to the 12-year box. But this year is not LOTRO's 12th birthday, because I did miss out on the first couple of years of the game. It is their 15th anniversary. So this game has been out for 15 years now. And people still play it. Granted, not as many as used to, but people still play this game. So I would say that's saying something. Between LOTRO and let's say it, World of Warcraft, because it's been out for what, 20 years now? These were probably the start of the modern MMO genre. Not the start of the MMO genre altogether, because there were games before even that, because there's RuneScape, which I believe people still play to this day. There was something called EverQuest, I believe, and I think even that's still running, although I don't know to what degree. I've never played EverQuest. I've never played RuneScape either, but I've known people that have. Now, I don't know if Guild Wars 2 is as old as or older than LOTRO, but that's still, people play that. And I think people even still play the original Guild Wars. And of course, there are people that are still chasing the next greatest MMO, which is why we always have new games coming out. Although it turns out quite often they're just kind of the same games with a different look and a different story. There's Lost Ark, which to me, it does not feel like an MMO. It feels more like an RPG, like Diablo, or Diablo 2. And people argue, well, with Diablo 2, you didn't see people running around. I'm like, wait a second, I'm pretty sure I ran into people when I was playing Diablo 2 on Battle.net. Or it could have just been the fact that if you joined a group or you entered a room, you would see the people in that. So I guess it could have been considered an instanced version of MMOing. Or co-op. I guess that would be a better term. But yeah, Lost Ark more reminds me of Diablo 2 than it does of an MMO. And I know there are some people that absolutely love Lost Ark that are mad by that comparison, but I mean, it is what it is. I didn't say it was bad. In fact, I was hugely fond of Diablo 2. I played that for many hours. So a game that has similarities to it, obviously I'm going to be mildly interested in it. Broken Ranks is another one that I've been playing that has a Diablo 2 RPG feel. In fact, even more so than Lost Ark. Having a ton of fun with that one. And it's also free to play. But yeah, I could list off a number of games that are either under the MMO genre, the RPG genre, or kind of a combination. Final Fantasy XIV, Terra, although I would not recommend Terra anymore. Not even in the least little bit. There's the flowers up there. Rift, again, would not recommend. What is that game I'm thinking of? Grim Dawn. Really good game. Highly recommend. They have incredible mods too. In fact, my favorite all-time mod is, no surprise, the Diablo 2 mod. Yep, we went crack. And there's older ones. Torchlight 2. I hear Torchlight 3 wasn't so good. We're going to Mickle Delving now. There's more of the survival end of MMOs too, like Black Desert Online. The Conan game, I can't remember the name of it, but I know several people left LOTRO, left the server specifically to go play it. Conan Exiles. It never really appealed to me that much because it was heavily PvP focused. And I'm not a PvP girl. Never have been. I played a little Battlefield. I can't remember if it was Battlefield 2 or Battlefield... I can't remember which one. I'd have to ask my roommate. But I've played Battlefield. I was told I was actually decent at it. But it just didn't appeal to me. I prefer to work with people when I'm gaming as opposed to work against them, if that makes sense. Although, I was willing to take that chance with New World back when it was in its first alpha, and it was a full loot, always on PvP. I was willing to say, okay, so it's going to be this big PvPe game, and well, how am I going to do this? And I'll be like, oh, well, I'll just join a company, and in exchange for their protection, I will provide them mats or something along those lines. But of course, it changed. And it wasn't because of the PvPers. It was because of the PKers. And there's a big difference between the two. So you have PvPers who are wanting to match their skills against someone of similar skills that isn't a bot, or not a bot, you know, an NPC in the game, a mob, to see who's better. And while, like I said, I'm not a PvP girl, I totally appreciate the fact that they want that type of challenge. But then you have your PKers, which stands for player killer, which I'm sure anybody watching this probably knows. And they're not in it for, I want to challenge myself against somebody of my own stature, yada yada. They're there to kill and loot. They're basically the pirates, the thugs. And it had gotten to the point in that alpha where there were groups of these PKers, and they would basically look for low-level players to grief. They'd kill them. They'd wait for them to come back to their body. They'd kill them again. They'd wait outside of settlements and kill people going out who just wanted to go do their own thing. And it wasn't a fair 1-on-1 or even a 2-on-1. We're talking 10-on-1. And because of that type of activity, the developers of New World decided to make a few changes, and one of them was to get rid of the full loot on death, and the other one was to add a PvP toggle switch. So if you didn't feel like PvPing, well, you didn't have to. And if you felt like PvPing, you could slap that thing on. And if you were really that dedicated to PvPing, you could slap that thing on and then unbind the key that would turn it off again, and, well, you'd always be on. It didn't work out, because it turns out that a lot of people actually didn't want to turn it on. And those that did turn it on only did so at specific times or for specific events, and had it off the rest of the time. And thus, the PvP pretty much died on most of the New World servers. And the PvPers, well, they got fed up with it because there wasn't a lot to do, so they left. And the PKers couldn't grief the PvEers because, well, the PvEers don't turn on their PvP tags for the most part. So I'd say a lot of the PKers have left. Although, judging from the Steam forums, that's where they moved to, and that's where most of the PvP takes place nowadays. Now, is there PvP in LOTRO? Yeah, but you have to go to a specific area for it. And you get to play as either one of the good guys, in other words, your character, the free people, or you get to play as a creep, which is, of course, one of the bad guys in Middle-earth. So you can have an orc, you can have a spider, you can have a warg. I think there's one or two others you can play as. I only know that little bit from, you know, people that have gone into the Ettenmoors and done Ettenmoors PvP. All that to say that PvPers have as much of a place in an MMO world as PvEers do. PKers, on the other hand, please grow up. Of course, that's either their personality and, well, they enjoy griefing other people, or they're bored, and that's what they do. And if games would cater a little more to both sides, PvP and PvE, then the PKers might find themselves, well, less bored, or less inclined to be bored. And if they do get out of line, well, real PvPers would get a chance to take care of business. I was going to get that patch of flowers, but she beat me to it. I still have some time left. I could probably get on my goat for this one more often. I think I will. Especially since right now I'm competing with other people. I wonder if it's the same person that I was competing with in Bree. Possibly. Which means she started hers at the same time and has a similar routine. Alright. And we finally remembered to start getting some ore so we can work on our crafting. No, we don't need that. We're not a woodworker. Actually, do weaponsmiths do wood? I cannot remember. They can do woodworking, but since they cannot gather and process wood, it's a whole lot harder. How many flowers do we have so far? 93 primrose, 68 violets, and 64 marigolds. Oh, we're not doing that bad. Not that bad at all. I think the best I've ever done is getting close to or just over 100 of each in a run. But it was on much higher level character, and there was a lot less competition that day. I know I've rambled on quite a bit. And mostly about my viewpoints of MMOs, RPGs, and, well, gamers in general. Which I generally believe that gamers are an intelligent bunch. Because if you think about it, a lot of games require some level of puzzle solving. Oh, another patch of flowers. And then, of course, sometimes it's just simple, mindless fun like this. Oh, but Miss Bella, this isn't fun. This is boring. It's relaxing. Gives you a chance to think about what's up next. And I think in this case, what's up next for LOTRO is getting Medrielle to Moria. But we're also not going to neglect Fistula anymore, because she's adorable. So I'm thinking for the future, say 3 weeks a month, we'll do Medrielle. And 1 week a month, we'll do Fistula. And that way Medrielle is still the main focus, but Fistula will have a little fun too. And of course, we'll get to see Fistula when... Actually, we should level her up before Yondershire comes out, because Yondershire is several levels over her at this point. Lots of food items in this. I've seen green onions and taters and... I've also seen lots of ore, which I'm not turning down. I have any flowers here? I don't see anything. Of course, that could be because somebody keeps beating me to them. Or it could be because there wasn't any there. Either way, we have, what, like 5 minutes left? Well, we're just going to get as many as we can that last 5 minutes. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So, 3 weeks a month, Medrielle. And 1 week a month, little Miss Fistula here. And that'll give us our main entertainment, but we'll also get to take a look at our little Hobbit and the Brawler class and things like Yondershire. Have a little bit of fun. After all, how can you not have fun when you're playing on the cutest little Hobbit Brawler this side of the Brandywine? I think that's Rush Shock Bog. Yeah, we'll have to do the Shire quest on her. Not just to get her leveled up, but because, well, it's the Shire. She should be wanting to defend it, right? Sanson's Farm. Now, Sanson's Farm is the location where you start the various chicken quests. And you start with something absolutely simple, which is like feeding the chickens, and then you talk to them and discover that they're worried about something. I can't remember the whole chain of events, but in the end, you end up with these chicken run quests where you run the chicken here, you run the chicken there, you run the chicken up to Bree, you run the chicken out to Rivendell, and it gets progressively harder. I mean, because you're running this chicken, this level 1 chicken with like no hit points all over the place, and anything could just like eat you in one tasty snap. And usually people, when they do, especially like run the chickens to Rivendell, they usually have somebody, a high level player, there with them to guard the chicken. Because technically you're playing as the chicken. So you don't have your character to defend it because you are the chicken. So you need somebody there with you to kill mobs before they kill you. But it is possible to do it without a guard. Me and my friend have done it, taken the chickens all the way to Rivendell. And I know that you can take the chickens even further, but it would take simply ages to do. Especially trying to do it without a guard. And maybe one of these days we'll get the time to do that. However, all that to say that it is possible to get your chickens to Rivendell without a guard. It takes a lot of work, a lot of spamming their one skill that is basically a fake dead skill. I think it's called Faint or something. And I think we're probably almost done here because we're down to the wire. I don't think if we find any more flowers it'll be amazing. I'll bookmark you for the moment. I know you're there. Patch of flowers. Get there. Oh, am I gonna make it? Am I gonna make it? I got it. Okay. And we have gathered all the flowers we can get in 1 hour. Oh, and to be fair, it did take us 2 tries to get the chickens to Rivendell. Just saying. So it wasn't something we did in one shot. And we are right back at Mickle Delving. How convenient was that? Alright, so I know we're probably over an hour at this point because we've yabbered on and we've done a whole hour long quest. So we're going to hurry back to Bree and we're going to go see what a couple of those boxes will get us. Okay, so we are back with the gentleman that sent us picking flowers and the Hobbit that's going to make the bouquets. And so we have 3 different color flower gift boxes, and depending on what you're getting, okay, so they all cost $6, $6, and $6. Used to be that each of them would have one flower that was more than the others, I thought. But we're going to get one of each. And we still have plenty flowers left to get more if we want to. But we're only doing one of each just to give you an idea what you get from them. Alright, so blue box. What are we getting? And we got a Warsteed cosmetic set. Spring lifts one appearance. Oh my goodness. So the blue one gave automatically right off the bat gave us a Warsteed cosmetic set, which we would not be able to use for ages and ages. It is bound to my account. I will probably see if... I'm trying to think if I have any characters that have Warsteeds that might not have this. If not, we'll use it ourselves, even though, well, we hardly need it. Alright, green box. And we got some flower petals from that one. So flower petals we can use to throw on somebody, like, here, this random person here is going to get showered in flowers. And okay, so that's what the flower petals do. And I think if you do enough of those, you actually get a permanent skill for that. Now, red. And what did we get? We got a blackberry tart recipe. Unfortunately, I am not a cook. Unfortunately, I happen to know a couple of cooks. Unfortunately, one of those cooks I cannot give that to because she's under certain rules that I set when I set her up. Well, but we've gotten a cosmetic set. We got a cute little emote, single-use emote, and we got a recipe. And that's, you also get dyes, you get other recipes. There's a couple little cosmetics you can get. Used to be you would get... No, I'm sorry, I'll take that back. That was for the anniversary festival that you used to get the Lost Steed. You don't get that anymore. It's too bad. Anyway, with all that being said, Fistula is festivaled out, and she is going to go find a haystack to sleep in. And until next time, bye for now.